Nobody seems to notice that it happens.
All right, so I figure out which one of them Bastion is, right?
Yeah, the only Solarian.
But he's
Yeah,
also got
okay,
a
so
gun, which means he's in charge.
the first thing I
At work,
do
sorry.
is immediately just, after being like, hello, friends, how are you all doing? I
Uh,
point to the Vorcha that just stole shit. I'm like, you may want to keep a better eye on your companions. They're
uh,
less than honest.
uh, so when you say that, Bastion will look back at the Vorsha, kind of like roll his eyes, like super annoyed, and then look over at the other Vorsha that's next to him, who then stands up with his mining pike and he swings it hard down and he hits the Vorsha, but as it hits him, it actually, like, as the thing is starting to go towards him, it starts to glow a little red, almost like the swinging motion makes it start to glow, and it cuts through the Vorsha as he's hitting it, and as soon as like the impact hits full, you can hear a little poof as the Vorsha's body like blows apart, like a mini explosion happened inside of it, and the Vorsha's like bits of chunks kind of fly, not like huge explosion everywhere, but they fly off of his body into areas on the ground. And he shakes the pick a couple times, just causes a bit of splatter on the table, annoys the people that are near where the splatter is, and then he sits back down with the pike.
I was hoping I could have a word with you in private, and I gesture to a place where the cameras don't cover it.
He recognizes that, but then he thinks, then he looks around for a second. He's like, it's better be important because I'm going to have a lot of paperwork to do after that mining accident. And he stands up, placing his cards down, and walks away from the table. He seems pretty confident nobody's going to fuck with the fact that he just put his cards down and the pool and everything that's sitting there, and he's going to walk away with you.
I will introduce myself as Cypher.
Cypher. Bastion. What do you want?
I just look around at the mining equipment for a second. I could do with some mining equipment. And I've heard that you might be able to arrange something for me.
What kind of mining equipment do you need?
I go into great detail about the huge mining spikes that we're going to need because I don't... Big mining spike doesn't quite sound like the technical term to me.
No. Obviously, you would use the more appropriate technical term, which details don't matter. So, it's like the MSD 345876. Blah blah blah. So you give him the technical term for whatever it is, and he's like, "That's a tall order, literally, a tall order. How do you expect to get that?"
We have money, and failing that, I have some information about some of the things you've been up to here that, well, let's just say, wouldn't quite keep you in your employer's good graces if they were to find out.
It's intimidation. You can roll me a talk, charisma, or talk strength check.
Why, I'm going with talk charisma, of course.
Ooh.
And it's a 12.
And he's like, uh-huh. Okay. I didn't say I wasn't going to work with you. Who else knows?
Nobody. For now.
Sounds like a lot of people. All right, yeah, I can help you out. But where am I supposed to bring these things? You got a ship?
I do, and I give him the location of where we're docked.
I can't bring this up to that dock. You're gonna have to bring the ship down here. Do you have a permit to come down here?
Crap. We can acquire one of those.
How soon do you need it?
It's got relative urgency.
This information, Can you wipe it? How do I have assurance you're not just going to come back and use this shit against me again?
Because I'm probably never going to touch another piece of mine equipment in my life ever again. I don't care about you personally. I just need this stuff. That's all.
Who's that? Says pointing at the Asari's face.
I would be looking at I'd be standing behind him watching the poker game.
Mm-hmm. They're all sitting around talking, kind of like from what you can hear. I don't know how intently you're listening, but they're kind of like all guessing what this conversation is about. The conversation started off like a legitimate I bet he's getting into trouble for blah blah blah, and then it literally devolved into it's a lover scorned, and they're fighting over the Asari and blah 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 blah. So
she's my Asari companion. She's decided that she would like to enjoy some of these Solarians for, I don't know, maybe 100 years or so, before she gets sick of us and moves on. You know how Asari are. She can be trusted, don't worry.
I'm sure about you. All right. I can get you the permit. Or at least I can authorize you to get the permit. I don't have the authority to do it, but my boss, he's always drunk. So if you get the paperwork, I can get it authorized, and you can bring the ship down here, and I can have the stuff brought to you. But just because you have something on me doesn't mean I can just give them to you. These things need to be paid for in full, and then some.
What are we looking at?
How many do you want?
Would I, with the survey report that I now have from Pluto, have a rough estimate how many we need? I mean, it's an ice planet, so I don't think we're going to need too many, right?
Yes, you would be able to do that. No, you have not spent time doing that yet.
I'm going to say 6. I don't know if it's a big amount.
Always go with the hex format.
Don't know if it's a big amount or a small amount, but I think 6 is a good start.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have figured this out if I had the information a little bit earlier.
We were on a ship for what? How long would it have been?
Yeah, but he got this the scout report as he was walking with you. How does Antari Entree? How does she give this information to Cattle that she thinks 6? Because he gets asked a direct question. Cattle's thinking for a moment. How do you tell him?
I will say if he's actually for a bit, I'll just turn around and say 6.
When a Solarian goes it's like a second's delay, because they think very fast.
I'm used to it by now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just turn around and say 6.
And so he I would say he raises an eyebrow at the fact that he is getting information from you, but they don't have eyebrows. So he gives a Solarian equivalent quizzical look to that exchange.
Yeah.
They're not monkeys like we are.
If you think that's a reasonable estimate, then we'll go with that.
6 will cost you 750,000 credits.
Can I tell if he's being genuine?
Roll me a trade wisdom check.
Trade wisdom?
I was gonna say I was gonna do this with you, but Jesus, trade? That's not gonna go well. I'm gonna try, right?
Yeah, I'm
definitely
gonna use my
try.
engineer. Yeah, you try first. That's fine.
Don't forget you have your pool of luck. Pool of luck. Pool of luck.
This isn't pool of luck worthy.
I'm not disputing that. It's a matter of money. Okay. Use your Kettle Ulan ability if you'd like.
I'm debating to use a pull of luck point because I don't want this guy fucking us over.
So
probably
reroll
good idea
with
to make sure he doesn't fuck us up.
Okay.
We do have 6 points.
So 2 abilities at the same time. All right, that's cool. That's good.
Cattle Olan is a burst mage, you see.
It's funny. So the good news is, while you're pressing your buttons there was somebody in our Twitch community that was very close to being able to drop a trump card, but no longer is capable of doing so because of how many points they spent on all these other things. And I'm like, for me, that's a crisis averted. Crisis
Yeah,
averted.
You created this crisis.
Yeah.
Thanks, Raul.
Yeah. I no names. Okay, so I'm not gonna say who it was.
Policy I have.
So all right, so with your 8 and your 9 in your check, you can see that he's obviously like, is that the cost of these things? No, he's clearly inflaming the cost of it to the 750,000.
But
I can't help
Is
but...
it like also the reasonable cost of doing this kind of dirty dealings?
I mean, you are blackmailing him, and he's still trying to make a profit off of it, which is dirty dealings.
Can't you be angry at the guy for that?
Yeah, can't fault a man for trying. I'm gonna say 650.
So you come back saying 650. He says 650, and how do I, when things go sour and they discover where I am, how do I live out my life with my wife and kids? How do I pay off everybody else that's involved? How do I cover all the costs of doing business and still make a profit? And I can't just walk away with a handful of credits and be like, oh, look at this, hard day's work. I need profits to cover the potential damages incurred from our exchange. 750,000. That's what I need.
You know what? You seem like a nice guy. Consider it done. Payment will be processed when we have the drills in front of us.
That's perfectly fair. You just send the paperwork my way. I'll get it authorized. We can have you out of here within a couple of days.
That sounds good.
Aside from your word, what assurance do I have that you're going to eliminate this information?
Is there some way that
I can trust your word. You and I are having an honest exchange here. However, there are others involved. He says, looking over at the Asari, like, quick glance.
The Asari is an honorable woman. Her goddess would not smile upon her, knowing that she would go back on her word.
He thinks for a moment, and he responds saying, I'm sure she's honorable by her standards.
You have my word as well, of course.
I'm riding a lot on that. He thinks for a second. He's like, so you can't give me assurance. We just have to go with this deal as is, and I have to hope.
The assurance is the extra credits. There's so many things I would want to say, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Did she say that?
So I'm
okay.
not going to say it, because it doesn't make sense for me to say that given the ruse we're spinning. But
The assurance is the fact that I'm willing to go along with you and your inflated price of things.
That's your assurance. That's how you know that I won't turn on. Oh God, this is honestly giving me heartburn. I'm a little. Yeah, okay, we'll do this deal, but oh man, I really hope that you don't cross me, Sci-Fi. Really hope you don't. And he kind of walks away. He turns and walks away. Doesn't even like shake your hand on it or anything like that. Or however, he just like doesn't even give like a respectable ending of the conversation. He just turns and walks off. Like clearly he's not happy, but he's going to go along with it because there's little else he can do.
Yeah. I just nod to Entree. Let's get out of here. We don't want any more mining accidents happening.
So
I
guys,
don't think that was an accident.
I just shake my head.
you guys make your way back to out of the mining place. Do me a favor, roll me a perception wisdom check there, Ollie. Okay. Do me a favor, roll me a perception charisma check, Ollie.
That's worrying.
Yeah.
Nope.
Ooh.
Okay. Obviously, like you saw and witnessed everything I described to you beforehand of the people that were sitting around the table that whole time because you were kind of watching them. And like I said, they were having their ongoing conversation that's evolved a few times. Every time, I should say, devolved a few times into being like more, eventually the conversation became, oh, maybe the lover scorned is actually, the other Solarian. And who knows? Are they both men? Is one of them a girl? Can you even tell? And it just became like the, jokes about the two of them or whatever. And when he went back over there, their demeanor immediately changed back to, yeah, of course, okay, sir. But you could tell, like, it's somewhat sarcastic. Like, they say the words that they need to, but there's not actual, like, authoritarian rule here with, like, a heavy thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very relaxed and kind of like gray law area.
Yeah, yep. So,
which is why it's probably a good idea to try and be in the good books of the guy we're actually working with.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you make your way out of there, hoping that you're in those books marked with a, nice list, and make your way back to the ship. I imagine straight there.
Yeah.
Okay. Back on the ship, because you guys were gone for a long while handling all of those things. Eventually, the door opens up and Trummy walks in, and she's like, "Cracks."
Cracks is like on his space DS, just like probably in the hut that he made out of the spare Mako scrap.
Yeah. You saying like Nintendo DS?
Yeah, like he's probably has like an old human game system and he's just like playing it.
He's playing like
you have like a little like not pillow fort, but like pillows inside of it, I imagine.
Oh, of course.
He's playing some
He's like playing a
16-bit
pillow
like
fort
Space
inside an
Invaders
actual
or
board.
like Asteroid or something. Thinks it's the best.
I mean, obviously.
We didn't have these in Krogan history, So anyways, she's like, "Cracks, you're gonna want to see this. Come with me."
Cracks like he waits like 20 seconds and then gets up.
It's funny because right around that 20 seconds happened, she's like, "Can you hear?" Okay, there he is. And you get up, and she, kind of like points over at like your guns, more or less, just saying you might want to bring them, and starts walking out the door.
Yeah, Cracks. He pretty much always has his guns on him, so.
Okay. She doesn't wait for you. She starts walking pretty quickly down the hallway. So I don't know if Cracks would jog to catch up or just plan on following her.
He would just follow. He doesn't jog.
Sure. So it takes like several minutes or so of you just like keeping an eye on her as you go through crowds or whatever to catch up to her until eventually you come across an elevator or something where she ends up having to wait for you to join in and then goes down with you. So when you guys are in the elevator going down, there's another person in the elevator, but she doesn't seem to care. She turns to you and says, "He came through. He's got an option. I thought you'd want to check it out first because nobody else seems to be as interested. I thought you might like it."
Cracks like he doesn't realize what's going on. I do, but Cracks doesn't.
He's so dumb.
And he just like nods stoically, like, yes.
So when you guys are making your way down there, so she stays relatively quiet because he doesn't engage her really in conversation. So you guys make your way down, and as it opens up, and you travel through some like really, really shitty areas, and you get through like the shitty areas, and you get into like where Omega collects all of its trash, which eventually, of course, it jettisons into space in the direction of the nearest star, hoping that it'll eat it up if it eventually makes its way there. But you're making your way over through like the big trash area. And these areas, these holes that hold all this trash are absolutely ginormous. And so you're going through like the different tunnels that connects these and sometimes even walking through the big trash areas themselves. Sure. Could you get on one of like the land speeder sort of things and, make your way over towards where it is you need to? Sure. But she doesn't. She stays on foot. I don't know if Cracks should bring something about that up or just continue following her.
Cracks is curious now, but he's really not sure what's going on.
Sure.
He was 1 minute playing his Pokerman game, and now he's here.
Okay. So you are traveling for a couple of hours because of like the ways that you're going through Omega to get here. And then finally, as you're going through like another trash heap filled, think like the what's it called, the Cave of Wonders, but instead of heaps of gold, it's literally heaps of trash everywhere with little alleyways going through
The
it.
trash area of the Axiom from Wall-E.
There you go. Oh yeah, there
Big
you go.
old
Actually,
huge
Wally.
chamber filled with trash.
or Idiocracy. So
Yes.
so you guys are going through the big heaps, and then you go through another door that's going to bring you to another hangar of heaping No. You go into the next hangar that's supposed to be filled with trash, and instead you see lined up neatly and all around are a whole bunch of different ships that are there. Now, these are not mint condition, gorgeous ships. These are clearly ships that have lived their life and have been repaired and put together and whatnot. But what is down here is clearly an illegal hangar of used ships that somebody can come by and make a purchase of. So when you come walking in, immediately as you walk in, because nobody has a fucking clue who you are, immediately when you come walking in, 4 Krogan turn around, and each of them have very large shotguns aims towards you, and they look like they're about to pull the trigger. Tremi holds her hand up as she's kind of like walking past them. She's like, he's with me, and keeps walking by. They don't seem to give a shit anymore because they clearly know who she is. As you're walking through the place, you can see there's a bunch of other people here, but not like in swaths. And like small little groups around having various conversations in this ginormous hangar, which the width across, you can see the wall as for the width across, but the length from your left to your right is longer than your eye can see. It is huge, so it can have many different styles or sizes of ships here. Anyways, one of the primary things that you notice, like the most peoples that you find here are actually Taurian. That's something that kind of like comes off to you. It's like, oh, there's a lot of Taurians here. And that being said, most of the vessels that you find here are Taurian. And so you go meeting up with a contact that she clearly has. Maybe it was the person that she met with beforehand, whatever. You meeting up with a contact, and she goes up to him and immediately starts speaking to him in Taurian, which I imagine you at least understand some amount of. And so they have pleasantries. There's a casual insult thrown about Krogan in general. And then they go into talking about the ship. It goes for a few minutes, and then eventually he's just kind of like, yeah, go check it out. And she's like, all right, Cracks, come with me. And starts walking off towards a ship in the hangar with you. Now, as you approach the ship, you can already see what it is. Like, you can clearly tell where she's walking towards. This is, if you were to put it under a class, it'd be a patrol boat. But this is an older model of Taurian frigate. So this was designed from the Taurian hierarchy to patrol the regions around their home planet. So it was originally designed to be for not jumping through mass relays or doing anything like that. It was originally designed to stay in very close proximity, and so because of that, it was designed for a lot of like really quick combat, much like we were describing last session with the fighters that you had to deal with, but on a much larger scale because this is about a medium-sized frigate. You know what I mean? Something like this requires at least 5 crew, bare minimum, to function. Usually needs much more than that to be functioning on all cylinders, right? Anyways, so as you approach the frigate, you can see it does, in fact, no question, have a mass drive. An ESO drive inside of it. You can tell just from the outside it's been retrofitted to have one inside there. And you're able to go inside and start looking around. So, Frank, do me a favor. I'm going to give you a +3 on this one because of your backgrounds. Roll me a lore. What's better for you, intelligence or wisdom?
Wisdom.
Lore wisdom check as you're walking throughout that ship.
And you said +3?
Please and thank you, sir.
Plus that many. 8.
Cool. So as you're walking throughout the frigate and looking around at the various things that are on there, you can see there is some work that needs to be done. Excuse me. There is some work that needs to be done in the ship to make sure that it is fully functioning, but it is in far better condition than the one that you had prior. It's bigger. It's just a better ship in general. It was never meant to be just like a shitty human holding ship. The whole thing is, it's actually looking like a serious upgrade across the board. We just require a little bit of work to get it to be where you want it to be. So after you're looking around, who would you like to speak to, her or him?
He's going to turn to the, I guess the broker in this case.
Yep, he's
So,
right
like-
outside the ship, giving you guys your time inside of it.
If she's inside with me,
But
then
you
he's just going to
him.
turn to her and be like, I'm not in charge of financing, right?
Yeah, but they'll listen to you more than they'll listen to me.
Just like, yeah. He just like looks at her, folds his arms in the only way Croken can, which is like their wrists over each other, and just says, "How much did he say?"
For this one, 1.3 million.
He like opens up his Omni tool and looks at her. Am I allowed to send a message out or super secret?
Yeah, you can talk to. I just wanted you to see it before I showed it to them.
Yeah, he actually
like
sends
sending
it
ships to
to
each other.
Connell. Like, he sends all the information to Connell and just ends it with like 1.3 million.
Hubby, no.
After you finish that, she goes, "It's a bit of a steal, isn't it?"
It's a lot of steel, actually.
It's 'cause it's stolen.
And there we go.
Ah.
Figures.
Connell just gets like the wait emoji.
Well, if she sees you going to send anything else, even if it's just a single character, she actually goes, hold on, hear me out. There's ups and downs with this ship. One of the downs is that it's stolen. A big up.
That's a big down.
A big up with this ship is the price for the quality of the ship. Another big up. I have flown this ship before. This exact ship, I have flown it before. I can tell you where some of the score marks and whatnot on the outside of the hull came from. I have flown this ship. I know it better than probably anything else you could hire me to fly.
Now, did we get paid per person for the last mission?
It all went
Or
in
was
the
it
party
only-
fund.
Yep.
Aw,
Yep.
I have no idea how much is in the party fund.
That's why Cattle's in charge.
know.
He's in charge of money.
Because, God, if I could afford this, totally. Screw you guys. It's going to be the Adventures of Cracks.
The reason why it was stolen is because it was given as a gift to someone that I used to serve under before. In my opinion, a betrayer of the hierarchy, a betrayer of the Taurian people, a softie that was more willing to talk to the humans than to make them pay for the injustices they did to ours. This is a symbol of justice right here. The ship is, it's a light in the dark.
He just looks at her and looks around the ship. Does it have a name?
I imagine your crew would come up with a new one.
Does it have a name? He asks again.
It's the Iron
Looking.
Talon.
He bobs his head a bit. That's a good name. Yeah, he erases the thinking emoji, or the wait emoji, and just sends, like, the thinking emoji. It's like, huh?
Hmm.
Huh?
Hmm.
Yeah, but he does send, like, there are some downsides to owning this. However, Tremi has flown the ship, is very familiar with it.
At this point, I imagine Cattle and Entree is still walking back or something.
You guys
so
are
it's just
almost
like-
back to your own vessel, probably like a good solid 10 minutes out from your own vessel.
He just, like, 5 seconds. I have no idea where we are.
You guys are hours from your own vessel. Do you want to bring it for a joyride? That's what took me so long. That's why I before I told you I had to come down here and convince him to let me. We can take it for a ride if you'd like, Cracks.
He doesn't even like Kesler. He's like, yeah.
Yes. She's like, all right, well, the good news about this, Cracks, as she says, immediately sitting down, powering up, and getting things up and ready to go, and hopping on the comm. She said, the good things about this, Cracks, yeah, if you could send them 7 or 8 up here so that they can help us out with this. Yep, don't worry. Yeah, and you will keep the hall. Yep, okay. This is going to be a live test.
He kind of shrugs. Is like, what other type of test is there?
Good. You command the guns then. And she says as the crew's coming up and she starts sealing it up and gets the thing powered up and starts getting ready to fly out of the trash jettison area. So she the thing like opens up and she starts to fly out of the trash jettison area. And you guys go off to do a fun little mission real quick. With that, why don't we take our first and only break for this session. Hooray. Because of fucking Comcast sucking balls. Which, hey, some people wouldn't mind, but it did affect our stream. So we'll see you all shortly. Bye.
Bye. Unless Comcast crashes. In that case, we'll see you next week.
Fuck Comcast.